Dorohedoro sequel was announced. You know what? And in honor of the fact that season 2 of the anime Dorohedoro has been announced, I will showcase my literal very favorite example of a sexualized female character who's considered like the GOAT of her respective manga and looks amazing and fantastic. Noi from Dorohedoro. This manga was done by a woman, by the way, which is one of the reasons why the sexualization of Noi and other characters comes across as very respectful. Noi is an amazing character. She lives in my mind rent-free 24/7. She is beloved. She's also like 8 feet tall. So that's cool. You know, we do love an 8-foot tall woman. Here's the full low res but not cut off panel frame where you can see that she's not really far away from the men in the room. The shadow's right next to them. She's just that much larger than them. She's great. And her design is objectively sexualized. She has huge tits. She often wears skimpy clothing. During battle, she has her clothing torn up pretty often. At no point is this ever like an issue for feminism. You know, feminism wins because of Noi, not in spite of her, is what I'm saying. Here's Noi next to the tallest other woman. That's not true, but you know, she's happily naked many times. Yeah, I guess, so this comes across as one of those arguments that would be made, I guess, by a gamergator insincerely, but I'm going to make it sincerely. Isn't it realistic that an extremely strong, superpowered, nigh indestructible woman who looks like this wouldn't really mind being naked in front of other people that much if she was known for being confident already? Like, if anything, I feel like it would be out of character for her to be super bashful. I guess all I can say is that if I was an 8-foot tall guy who could punch through walls and stuff and was like the strongest guy anyone knew, and a bomb went off near me and I survived, but it blew my clothing off, I feel like I'd just be standing there. You know what I mean? Right? Like, it's like, yeah, like a Baki character. I don't know. Like, I feel like past a point, you just kind of grow past that feeling of shame, you know? I feel like it'd be weird and, if anything, kind of like, not sexist, but I feel like it would be inconsistent character-wise for her to like, yeah, I don't know. Are Baki men sexualized? No, they're too monstrous in their design, I think, to really be sexual. But I guess some people are into that, but whatever. I don't know. It would reinforce negative gender stereotypes. This is an opinion, I don't know. This is one of those things a lot of people will make arguments for in like a really disingenuous way. Like they'll look at X-Blades, or they'll look at like Heavenly Sword or some bullshit anime weeb game where the chick's ass is always out, and they'll be like, if you were strong, you'd have your ass out too. But like, I do feel that a sort of nonchalance about one's appearance, presentation, and potentially nudity is a realistic component of being very strong in a universe where that strength like translates into your sort of social power. I don't know. Are JoJo's part 1 to 3 men sexualized? Some of them are, but 4 and onward they get more sexualized because they start getting drawn less monstrous. Would you say people self-identifying as radical feminist are generally a wash? For the most part, yeah. I used to, because when I said radical feminist, what I meant was socialist feminist, but I was misusing the term. When people say radical feminist, they tend to mean TERF or SWERF or whatever else, but they don't always mean that. It's just, you know, it's semantic. On this topic, do you think nudity is explicitly sexual? Okay, nudity isn't inherently sexual in its presentation, but I also think people go overboard with that sometimes, and they pretend that, like, you can just be nude and there's no sexual connotation. Like, we live in a society, okay? Like, you can say that, but if you have a hot chick and you're fucking, like, one-off comic or whatever, and she's naked all the time, and it's like, oh, well, nudity is not sexual, she's just a nudist. Like, come on, fuck off, dude. Like, let's not be, like, you know, disingenuous here, I feel. Everything is about sex? Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Intersectionality is the linchpin of effective feminist analysis. If you don't have that, you're dog shit. You're not even, you're worthless to me. Not nudity, but Wonder Woman did a great job in Justice League of being both sexual and strong. Okay, wait. One last trope that I'm gonna criticize that I think is sexist, by the way. One trope that I'm really fucking tired of seeing all the time is you'll have a female character who is like autistic or isn't familiar with like social norms or customs, and she'll be bathing and some guys will walk in and she'll just turn to face them being naked, like not caring, and the guys will be like, oh, excuse me. And it's like, I feel like all this does is appeal to a fantasy of having a quirked up baddie chick that you know who's too autistic to know that you're not supposed to show like tits and pussy at people. It's that born sexy yesterday trope on TV tropes, you know? That always bothers me. If you're, like, it's not always bad, but I feel like if you're gonna do that shit, at least have the guys not be like cringe lord isekai anime protags, you know? If I walked into a room and there was a naked woman in there who immediately turned and addressed me normally without covering up, I don't think I would go like, oh, yeah. I think I would like just try to like address her normally, you know? Like maybe it'd be cute if they showed the guys being slightly flustered or like very slightly off-put by it, but not like, I don't know, it just immediately speaks to like we bullshit 14-year-old sex fantasy appeal or whatever, you know? Or fuck it, have the guys tell her to cover up, not even an embarrassed way. Like walk in on Wonder Woman, like changing or whatever, and she's like, oh, hey, what's up? And be like, hey, put a fucking top on, okay? Put your gigantic mammoth milkers away. What are you doing? What do Amazonians even have tits for? Weren't they made out of clay by the goddess Athena? Do they even give natural birth? There were no men on their island. What do you have tits for? You should all be like mannequins in a fucking in a department store. Depends? Yeah, well, whatever. She isn't Amazonian? Wonder Woman isn't Amazonian? Maybe I'm off on my lore. I thought she was. They go on boats and have sex with men. In the DC universe? Whatever. They rape lost sailors in DC. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. She's Themysciran? I thought that was like where the Amazonians lived. They aren't all made of clay, just Wonder Woman. She isn't actually an Amazonian. Oh, okay, so she was made directly by God, but the rest of them are just like quirked up baddies who snoo rape their way to... Let's move on.